All right.
So we're gonna do this basically like our second look at the developer.
Have you watched it?
Yes, I've watched it. I
Okay.
think probably the day I saw it.
Yeah, that'll be good because then we can we'll be more comfortable talking on and not like afraid that we miss stuff out. I haven't really seen it, but bits and pieces, I guess. Bits and pieces, like
you'll
not
like this. You'll like this.
But okay, so yeah, let's start. So this should be a bit of like a second watch through for you. It is a bit. I've scrolled through some parts of the vid before, so yeah. So maybe a little bit of like I mean, we've already used Elysia. We kind of understand, and I played the Elysian realm.
We know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So.
All right, let's just go into it.
Yep. Ooh.
嗨，等你好久了。
It's interesting. It says second down there. Like.
Oh yeah, like the
second Elysia, yeah. Also, they don't.
这束鲜花要心怀感激的收下哦。
She is. Her words are very like. The hidden meaning behind it is like what makes her really scary.
艾莉西亚是一位可爱迷人又神秘的少女角色，所以我们
可爱
首
迷人
先
又
就想
神秘
到要用粉色来作为这个角色的主色调。相较于我们游戏内之前的八重樱、罗莎莉亚这样的粉毛角色，艾莉西亚她的性格更加甜美和主动，所以我们
I love when
在
they show the
她
character
设
sheets in these
计
videos.
发型的
Yeah.
时候，把前发的刘海稍微削的平整了一些。
What do they call those on the
然后
sides?
再搭
Palette?
配我们在身后给它
Yeah,
设
yeah,
计
color
了一些
palettes, color schemes.
卷发的元素，让整个人物显得更加有俏皮感，也使得这个角色的趣味性增加了一些。
I would
在
say
服装上，我们
the
这
way
次
he's
在一些
describing
部
the
位选择
character,
了紧身的设
they
计
with
为了凸显她
Elysia,
少女优
they
美的大
managed
腿曲
to translate
线。而另外，
their
我们也设计
exactly
了
what they
妖
wanted
精
the
耳
character
朵
to
还
be
有贵族
so
的
far,
服
like
装
having
样式
encountered her in the
在
game.
战斗中，我们
Yeah.
还做了水晶啊和植物的一些
The
元素结合，
crystal,
让它显
crystal
得
flower.
更加神秘和高贵。
神秘和高贵
我们想让它
Mysterious
在
and elegant. That is
普通的这
exactly
种甜美印象外
what she
更
is.
增加一些距离感，也为了点出他烛火英杰副首领的身份。
在你眼中，我和凯文谁更厉害呀？
身为13英杰的第2位副首领，艾莉西亚需要有不输给凯文的气场，她得让人印象深刻、过目不忘。所以我们在最开始就确定了诱人缪斯和坏女人这2个与凯文对立的意象。作为融合战士的领袖，她美丽、优雅、极具魅力，但同时纯真外表下又有着调皮自恋的一面，充满坏性格。
调皮自恋。
她善于辞令，
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Very mischievous.
Julian is like in love with yourself. That is very, very
接
true.
连不断的攻势下，不知不觉暴露出弱点。但同时，艾莉西亚又十分神秘，令人捉摸不透。对话的节奏
Yes,
始终
that is
被她
also
牢牢
very
把握在
true.
手中
The writer knew
在关键
exactly
时
what he
刻
wanted
不
out
戛
of the
然而止，
character.
只留下一个充满暗示的笑容，就是这样敌退我进，你进我退，始终保持着一段朦胧的距离。
A smile full of hints.
和我在一起
Exactly,
很愉快
exactly
对不
how
对
I've.
我也
That's
这么觉
exactly
得
how I've been translating
作
her
为风化三
character.
第一个
Like
弓箭主 C 角色，我们在设计艾
she
莉西亚的
she
时候
leaves
花
a
了
bit
很
of
多心思
distance, and you
她
never
甜美
get
诱人的
close
气
enough,
质
but
和自带的
you
神秘
get
感
close,
让我们
kind
确
of
定
thing.
了她
Right,
无法
right.
守的这个定位。
Like she's always
魔法
hiding
其实
something.
最
Yeah.
I remember you saying that.
You think you're
她所有的
close,
能力
but
是
she
基于
always
魔
keeps
法
you at
这
a
个概念
distance.
所展
But
开的。
she is like
艾莉西亚具有魔
she
法射
did
击、
she
水晶
oh
花
she
she
手
gets
is
intimate.
left-handed in the art. I
3个
remember you
She-
mentioning that
Yes.
yesterday on
最
the
重要的
on
一
the
点
stream.
Because the glove is on her left
当
hand.
艾莉西亚开启必杀技时，会生成一个
Like
由魔能
archers
构筑的
usually
水晶结界。
Hold your
它的核
oh
心输出手
wait
段
no
魔力射击，在结界内命中目标时会产生多次弹射
no
的
that's
效果
right-handed.
不断地使
I
用
shoot
魔
with
力
my
射击
right
敌
arm.
人就会
Like
受
I've
到来自
I've
弹射的不
ta
同
taken
伤
up
害。
archery before.
同时，通过各种手段附着在敌人身上的水晶花种也会被魔力射击所引爆。当多种具有魔法色彩的元素碰撞在一起的时候，画面华丽又震撼人心，这就是我们想要的艾莉西亚。
来场敞开心扉的交流吧。
艾莉虽然表面上看起来俏皮灵动，但身为实力强劲的融合战士，她在战斗中也会展现出沉稳干练的一面。 艾莉西亚的整体动作风格与之前的弓箭角色菲切尔大相径庭，她的招式都准确连贯，充满自信但又不过分张扬。比如使用魔力射击时，艾莉西亚的身姿相对收敛，但灵动有力，射出的箭矢可以利落地贯穿敌人。我们希望借助动作设计，让大家感受到这个角色表面之下蕴含的优雅，以及烛火英杰应有的力量与威压。
This is very it's very interesting the way they do that.
毫无疑问，艾莉西亚身上还有许多未揭开的谜团，她似乎和每个人都很亲近，却又有着不为人知的秘密。前文明的诸多事件都和她也很关联。
Exactly, man. She's close to everyone, yet keeps a secret behind all the time.
会为我们带来更多的惊喜。而至于现在，就先尽情享受与这位妖精小姐共度的欢乐时光吧。
这次的任务报告就写非常简单吧。
Okay, we'll have her in the background for a bit. That was a very good watch. I enjoyed that.
Yeah.
So much more than I know we did a very, I mean, to be fair, that was the first time we ever did something like that anyway for the Flame Scion one. But also I feel like Flame Scion is a more emotionally heavy character. Very much so if you're if you've been playing Honkai since the start.
Right.
But Elysia herself as a character is very playful. And the theme of the vid also is also you and I having seen her in action and in the Elysian realm and having interacted with her, we fully I think that we fully understand and really relate to whatever they were saying about her. So that plus the core of her is playfulness. It's it's just a different tone entirely, and I really enjoyed that.
It's a different tone, and I definitely feel like because they already had a really clear idea of what her character is, and thus in addition to the character, or because they already had a clear idea of the character, they could sort of figure out what the playstyle would derive from that. Whereas with Flame Scion, there was a lot of creative challenges, and they reflected that in their video. Right?
But
they were oh, we need to incorporate all this and that, and then somehow still balance it in the gameplay, and then the number tuning and all that.
Yeah. That, and also, I think the difference is that when we were at Flame Scion, the story of that part of the story was still a mystery. But when we are here, we've seen Elysia, we've done so many interactions, and she's just shown her character in so many ways, and I think
not yet for global and C players, but
if you're watching this video, if you're watching this video,
you've watched MG's playthroughs, so you should know.
So but yeah, I mean, I don't think we're going into too much of spoiler territory because like I keep saying, the Fire Moths are the previous era. So it's a lot of yes, there's spoilers in the sense of even the flashbacks reveal stuff, but overall it's it's in the past kind of thing. It's
it's more like learning history in a way.
Yeah, it is. Although there are gonna be huge revelations. They're gonna be, according to the dev stream, they're gonna reveal the 13 Hyasha, and what else? Oh yeah, and big spoiler, tune out immediately if you don't want to hear this. So Elysia says that Mantis was totally wiped out in their encounter with the 11th Hyasha, which makes me wonder how powerful the 11th Hyasha is, or will be in the current era, and because that was the previous era, 11th Hyasha, and the 13 survivors formed the Fire Moths. So this is why there's this is why you hear Mantis, and this is why you hear Fire Moths. So over here it says Mantis, and then second, the moth who chases the flame. So apparently, maybe they still identify as Mantis, even, because they are the remnants of the Mantis. But overall, I think they will, they're already known as the Moths after that. So yeah, for anyone wondering, why Moths and what's the difference between the Moths and the Mantis? Well, that's it. And also, this symbol, yet again, you guys can't see it because my camera's on it. Yeah, but okay, let's go in game. So this symbol, everyone's gonna connect it to Genshin again.
Right.
It's a symbol on Paimon. Yeah. This is really interesting. I don't think we're going to go too much into lore, especially since we don't know anything about this kinds of connections.
People were also saying that logo was also on the Herrscher of Domination's puppets.
Oh yeah, it was.
It was inverted. or upside down rather.
So there's still a lot of mysteries to the fire moths, like because we know that a lot of them took high level Honkai beasts to like infuse themselves. That's why they're that powerful. And apparently each of the fire moths are Hyasha level, or some of them even higher, according to like, you know, the not just one source, like various sources do tell us. But yeah, let's keep the focus on Elysia. So Elysia is really funny because and that was said in the developer stream, the writer also said she wants to maintain an image of being stronger than Kevin, which I feel really interesting because like she contradicts herself a lot because she gave Kevin the #1 spot.
Yeah.
And then she's like, there is a really funny piece of dialogue when you find the both of them in the same room in the Elysian realm, because like some of the characters will be like standing around. So like sometimes it's just Kevin, sometimes it's Elysia. I think I saw Fuhua once before. And then so they happened to have like Elysia and Kevin at the same time, and then the conversation goes like, "Hey Kevin, would you mind if I take the #1 spot back for a while?" And then Kevin was like, "Why do you want it?" And she's like, "You know, it's a better way to introduce myself." They'll be like, "Huh, this person can be #1? Wow, she must be so mysterious." And she's like, "But if I take the #1, you're gonna have to be #2 for that time." And then Kevin's like, "Just do whatever you want." She's like, "Okay." And so,
yeah, you kind of do get that sense where like Kevin just doesn't care.
Yeah, he never.
Kevin's like he's so single-minded on his mission. So like the trivial things like the ranking and whatnot, it doesn't even bother him.
Even if
so that's
he's
probably
like,
why she probably gave him that #1 spot.
Yeah, she did
just for him to be a figurehead.
Yeah, which is exactly like
ways.
even in the developer stream they say that she was the one who built the fire mobs. Like, so apparently, I'm really interested to see that scene of like how she picked them up after the 11 Hyasha just decimated everyone, or rather just obliterated like the entire Mantis. We also don't know how many Mantis members there were. You know, it could be funny if there were like 15 of them and 11 Hyasha killed 2 and like she killed all the rest of the Mantis.
I think it was more than 15 though. I'm pretty sure it was more than that.
I would say it's like my assumption is that it was probably the size of like the Shixal, which would make like the impact really huge. Like maybe maybe not. I don't know how huge the Shixal is, but maybe like at least in the hundreds of Mantis. But also,
it was like between 1 to 500, I think, that were remaining at that point.
Yeah,
because it was like they did lose a lot against the other Hershers too, up to that point.
Yeah, I would say it's like an entire organization until they were all like wiped out, which is very interesting because there is also one thing I'm like really looking forward to seeing. Like Durandal in the story, despite her title of like strongest S rank, she actually is like one of the strongest characters, just period, like not just in the Shixal.
Right.
And I would like to understand like her power level in comparison to like the Fire Moth power level, and also
I think that has been compared in a few of the manga, right? Because like when she first gains the Dea Ancora suit, it's because she sparred with Sue, but I think it was either that one and in London Holiday there was at one point she was sparring with Kevin's elf.
Whoa.
And she couldn't beat the elf.
What?
But when she fought against Sue, she apparently fought him, or I guess he kind of let her win up to a point.
So
but she wasn't able to beat Sue, but she was able to like fight him or impress him enough where he kind of let her win at the end.
So that means
then he
that means
then,
the Fire Moths are like still the highest power level in the whole of Honkai right now.
I guess so.
Wow. and it's not even like Elysia herself claiming it. I think it's canon that she is in fact stronger than Kevin. Just she says it, but like also like nobody denies it. That was also one of the reasons she was #1, because she did say that she was #1 initially, and then she got bored of the position. She felt like #2 would suit her better. Yeah, she was like, I'm not a leader. That's too much responsibility for me. But it's also funny that she says that because she's still controlling a lot behind the scenes. Effectively, she can do whatever move she wants to the team, and they will just listen. So effectively, she's still the leader. But like, you know, she just says like, oh, Kevin has more of like an aura of like leadership, and like his title is, his inscription is savior. So like you know, they follow the savior kind of a thing.
Right.
Yeah. And so she just does whatever she pleases. So obviously, if all the fire moths, like, especially someone like Kalpas, would like acknowledge her power, I would say it's very safe to say that she is in fact stronger than Kevin, because they do explicitly say that. There are a lot of times when Elysia does say that, like, you know, in terms of power, I'm stronger than Kevin. In terms of, like, you know, this and that, like, so she casually says it, and like nobody has denied it, or like I think it's suggested that she actually is, which is like very interesting in terms of like she probably is the strongest character we will see in the entire arsenal right now in terms of lore. I just don't know how powerful she is compared to like Herrscher level powers.
I almost wonder, like, she could be stronger than Kevin, but it might be a by 2% type of thing, right? Because if you think back, right?
Oh, okay.
In the cinematic where Herrscher of Sentience was in control of Fu Hua's body, and she goes and tries to fight World Serpent, like, she was only fighting Kevin to a standstill. It looked like she was kicking his ass, but it was technically still a standstill.
Yeah.
Because when we play through the chapter, they just fight and nobody's actually winning. And
yeah.
He's just like, all right, what do you really want? Because this is a waste of time for both of us.
But Kevin doesn't really like go all out, because he fought with Durandal 1-1 as well, and then Otto stepped in to stop it. So it's really interesting. Is Kevin not as strong as before, or is like Durandal stronger now, or did they just not go all out in the fight? You know, there's like
I think for Kevin, he has incentive to not reveal his true power.
Oh.
But I feel like in this case, Elysia would know more about what his true power level would be.
Yeah, for sure.
But I don't know. I still find Elysia a little bit unreliable as a narrator to say like, oh, you know, she's stronger than Kevin. But definitely to the developers' intent is that like they did want to present that she didn't want to lose to Kevin, right?
Yeah,
that was
exactly what the writer said. Like she has that competitiveness with Kevin. That's interesting, because I'm also interested to understand their power level compared to Herrscher's power level. If like did they super massively power up after like Mantis got obliterated, or like were they just strong and then they lost to the 11th Herrscher?
I think they were just strong and lost to the 11th Herrscher, because in the previous era, like Kevin deleted previous era Himiko Herrscher, like no remorse. Remember, because that was always like a lore point that always comes up, like, oh, Kevin just wiped her out. No questions asked.
Yeah. Interesting. Wow. So they might be like actual Herrscher level or higher, which and that is really interesting, because she herself makes that statement of like, oh, people would be so confused as to like, this person is that powerful, you know, because like looking at her, and then like you pull up one of the Herrschers and you're like, no, if you show them to like someone who has never played Honkai, they're gonna say like, no, this person looks stronger, she's more menacing. And then like yeah, she's like, she definitely looks strong in comparison.
Yeah, look at all the extra arms and that giant sword. You know?
And then like in terms of appearance, which is probably what the writer and the character designers are going for, like you wouldn't think to look at like this as the strongest character in the inventory right now.
Right.
Yeah. Granted, power level, maybe Flame Scion is the strongest right now. She supposedly has powers of the Herrscher of the Void, the Herrscher of Flame Scion, and then like, because the Void can assimilate any other Herrscher cores. So like her power is like
at that story point, it was also including a little bit of reason and a little bit of sentience as well.
So like her power is definitely far beyond everyone else in this, like even Fu Hua at this point. And I would say even Durandal, because like Durandal might not be at the power level of Elysia. So like then the power level is like downwards from Flame Scion. The top are like definitely the current Herrschers. Nyx is a question mark on like how powerful she is. And then Fu Hua, if Fu Hua is already that powerful, when she was like, she lost so much of her power when she was equipped with the Shadow Knight battlesuit.
Right. I want to say like at the story point when Shadow Knight debuted, it was like she was wearing the suit to emulate what her previous era.
She was she was somewhat like maybe
supposed to have
10%.
been, right?
Yeah, she was like maybe 10% of what she used to be, and she was already really strong even at that power level.
Right.
So
Right.
like that shows the Fire Moth power level, and it's also interesting because like Elysia says that she gave Fuhua number 12, and I also find it interesting that 12 not 13, but she said like she gave Fuhua number 12 because Fuhua was the youngest. So apparently at that point in the story, Fuhua might have been a warrior they just picked up. Like they saw potential, so they're like, okay, she can like she's Mantis level, and when they picked her up, but they were still training her. So
But at the point when they picked her up, it was already after she had awakened her fusion warrior powers.
Yeah, but it's kind of like the Hayasha that's fully formed and fully in control, and like the one that just awakened, like sentience. So like they have power at their disposal, but they don't have the experience to use it. Like you mentioned, like sentience going up against Kevin. Like Kevin might not be at the same power level he used to be, but he might have like that much more experience with dealing with Hayashas that help him gain the edge in the battle. So like the Fire Moths are not just power, but they're so seasoned warriors that they've taken down like so much of the Honkai. And I would say like in that sense, like that makes Elysia one of the most powerful in the inventory.
That gives them even more of an edge,
Yeah.
Oh, for sure.
I think they do really succeed in showing that she has the power, but she's so like effortlessly showing it, and it's not like an in your face. She's so powerful.
It's almost whimsical how she displays it. Right?
Yeah.
It's
not like in your face.
It's
so
like
powerful.
there's a mix of elegance, but also
elegance, mystery, and mischief. I think is what they say. Yeah, mischief. Like, so, and her lines are also like super funny. The way she like, the thing she. My, what scene is like
Heart's Desire or something like that.
No, scene is like my. Something like I'm giving you something. So like my thoughts, my emotions in this gift. Please take it. Yeah, and that's her ultimate. Like Xingyi is like something like that. It's like I don't know how to explain. That's like it's really hard to translate Mandarin like on the spot because there's so much compressed
so
into like just 2 words.
Of nuance to it.
Yeah, there has to be an exact like a word that can directly translate it to English. I just can't find it in my brain right now. We feel already so attached to the character in some way, even though this is the first time we're seeing her. Like back previous version, Flame Scion, we've been attached to the character like for so many years and like so many chapters. But it's interesting how like we're able to like feel that connection with a character that we've never seen before until like, and many players haven't even seen, like because I have the Chinese version and like you have access to the character herself in the beta, and like so we've seen her, the little bit of interaction we've seen on her they've been able to convey. And I think like the character designer, the writer, the you know what's the other one, the character
designer,
action designer. Yeah, I think they've done a really good job with like all the nuances and all the little actions that she does, or like in every character, not just her, because like they design every character, but like to I think they've translated the character really well from like their thoughts to like having the character here in terms of story.
I think they had quite a good advantage this time around too, where they kind of had the main design already prepared for 5.0 for Elysian Realm, so that by the time it comes down to 5.1, all they really had to do was like, all right, well, we have all the designs kind of in place, so now we just build it and then design the action for it. I think I really like just the overall design. I feel like it's a really good like character design, right? It's really balanced silhouette, and then like there's a lot of asymmetry, but it's not like unbalanced asymmetry.
Oh, that symbol is here too. You heard the theory?
The fact that her leggings are symmetrical, like it's like,
and her shoes.
Her shoes match. Yes, that's the thing. Yes, I am satisfied.
Yeah. And like the glove is an archer thing, so that's also like
And it's not a half glove.
Yeah,
It's not
the
a half
asymmetry that they play around is like very just designer kind of like
Yeah.
natural like additions to stuff. It's not really. It's
Yeah,
not like
and like I
glaringly-
said, it's like the fact that it's a balanced asymmetry, it makes it less visually jarring than some of the other asymmetrical designs
Yeah.
that they've had in the game.
It's funny because she doesn't have a rich history of the players, but she has history literally. So
Right.
so
Deep
so
lore.
yeah. She's so interesting in so many ways, and we haven't even scratched the surface. Like, there's so much more to see about the character. But like I said earlier when we started the vid, her words are scary that way because like the way she says stuff, it's like it's so casual, but the meaning behind what she's saying is like she's out there to kill you, but she's just making it such a trivial matter of like,
Yeah.
you know, if I were to take you down, I wouldn't even have to lift a finger, kind of a thing. But she says it like so easily, like, "Ha, you know, I'm here to do this, and you're about to die." Like, you know, that's her level of like, yeah. And I did say like, you know, I when I first encountered her in the Elysian realm, I did say she might be my next favorite character, but like overall, I still. It's hard to say, right? Because like her outgoing personality is very huge, very stark contrast to like my actual favorite character, which is Durandal. Durandal is like, in some ways, more similar to Kevin.
Right.
Yeah, she's
There's just
very task focused.
Like no bullshit. Let's get the mission done.
Yeah, she's very task focused, and like she also shares the similar title of like she's the strongest S-rank Valkyrie there is, and Kevin is like the title of like the strongest farm off. Although we know Elysia is probably stronger, maybe a little bit.
Maybe.
Yeah, but I see more similarities to like her and Kevin more so than her and Elysia, and like I feel that they're different. To me, like they're really different. So it's like they kind of maybe share the same spot as like first place character, like of like first in my favorite, but
it's now that you've mentioned the comparison of Durandal to Kevin, it's almost like how Rita is very sly and like smirky and smug.
Ha. So she's like a parallel to Elysia.
Yeah, in a way. Now that you've brought up the Durandal to Kevin comparison, it's like for the longest time, Rita kept her true power hidden.
Oh yeah, but
she's very smug, very sly, and
But she's less playful. Elysia's max level playful.
That's
like,
true. It's true.
I don't think we've seen anyone more playful and powerful than Elysia. Like even. Who's like the most playful that we've seen so far? I think the twins, maybe. No, the Hershey Sentience, for sure.
Yeah, Hershey Sentience.
But
and then the twins.
Sentience
the twins
has...
are more like goofy.
Yeah, and Sentience has less. Sentience has less control over her power. Power level, she might be on par or maybe stronger, but like she doesn't wield it. I would say
like
she wouldn't wield it as well.
She has the memories so that she's capable of wielding it, but it's very brute force.
Yeah.
There's no finesse.
Yeah. And like her confidence behind her powers are different from like Elysia's confidence behind her powers. Elysia is like, you kind of get the sense that if she knows she can crush you, she knows she can crush you. Like she has the lay of the land. She understands, like she's already like done all the math compared, like, oh, I know you're dead.
Yeah.
But Sentience is like, she thinks she's the absolute power. So she's the kind who's like, oh, she's overconfident. Despite no discounting her power as a Hasha, but like she's the kind who like somewhere along the line like bump into a roadblock and be like surprised at like, oh, I thought I was this powerful. She's like that level of cheeky and confident. But like Elysia's confidence is like, I would say like if she knows she can't win the fight, she would find some way to withdraw. Elegantly, but still like she knows when she's
because even going back to Hershey of Sentience is like soon as Kiana was like able to basically stop her, she was kind of shocked.
Yeah,
right? She was kind of shocked. Like now,
and she was kind of lost of like, oh, what am I gonna do? There's no way you can beat me. But like Elysia for sure would know what she's doing, and like I would say like she would assess the situation, and if they can't do it, they can't do it. So she has that different level of like, she has like the Durandal level of confidence, but she hides it behind her mischievous, like, character. But also it's like, to some extent, like with the interactions with her, it's not really an act. She's just naturally that way, and then she's thrust into that position of power. more so than using it as a mask.
Right.
I feel like, yeah, she's actually just that playful. And she's like, well, I'm this powerful now. I guess I have to take up responsibility. That's the level of like where she's at. You don't get the sense of like, oh, I'm putting up a mask so you can't get near me.
Right, right.
Yeah. No?
For me, when Elysia was first announced, my first reaction was like, oh, I'm a little bit annoyed that it was Elysia, because you remember how May reacts to Elysia in the Elysian Realm dialogue. She's just constantly like, she deals with Elysia because she has to, right?
Yeah,
but she's constantly annoyed by how Elysia acts and like engages with Raiden May.
Yeah.
And so like when I first saw the news, I was like, I feel just as annoyed as Raiden May right now. But after having gotten the chance to like watch the developer video and play test her, it's like she's starting to grow on me.
Oh, she started to grow on me way sooner. Also, wait a minute. Look at that. Is that symbolism of the imaginary tree? Look at her right arm and her coat.
Oh, like the branches. Yeah, so they were saying that the symbol was like a symbol of the imaginary realm. But I can sort of see it, and then that also ties back into what they said in the developer, right? They wanted to have like the crystal motif, but also like the organic branches and stuff.
Huh. Oh, okay. Wow. I wonder what power she holds, because they say like Kevin has the Parvati gene. She must have some killer, and like Fuhua has Benares. She must have some godlike Honkai beats in her to also make her like the most powerful of the Moths. Wrapping up, thoughts on Elysia? Character-wise, in-game-wise, and like just overall lore implications. Expectations maybe. Maybe I can start because like I've experienced I'm the one experiencing the Elysian realm firsthand.
Yeah.
I think it's interesting to see the reason she is added as a playable character, because I personally. Okay, so I've been told that I have to unlock like every single egg story in the Elysian realm before Mobius will appear. So even though, like, because usually how it goes is that some of the other Fire Moths that you've met will mention someone else, like, oh, they mentioned Sue. I remember,
and then Sue unlocks.
Yeah, Elysia said like, hey, can you ask him something for me? And then May's like, who? Sue, can you help me ask him how he sees stuff with his eyes closed? And she's like, he never opens them. I want to know. And then May's like, what the hell are you talking about? That kind of thing, right? And then you have that short interaction. And my next entry, I meet Sue. So I had the Mobius interaction already, but apparently I've been told that you need to unlock everything else before Mobius will actually come out and see you.
Wow.
Yeah, so Mobius has like huge implications in the story. And I've also heard that Mobius has an item. Because, like, when you go into Elysian Realm, there's, like, one single item slot that you can equip stuff. I've been told that one of Mobius, okay, so with each story that you unlock, there are 2 milestones with that item. Some of them will, like, give you additional chance to meet, like, Kevin's will give you an additional chance to, like, have the Savior additional skill. So, like, Kevin will come out and, like, help you freeze everyone. And when you break the ice, they'll take additional damage. So, each of I heard Fuhua's is insane. Fuhua will give you extreme heightened like auto SP regeneration, and your skills have no cooldown.
Wow.
She is basically God. But
yeah,
I've never gotten Fuhua. I've gotten Sue, I've gotten Kevin, I've gotten Eden, and I've gotten Elysia. So like, man, Fuhua and Sakura. Anyway, so like it'll be interesting to see that, because I hear Mobius's item, one of her items, is an increased chance to encounter Elysia as your final boss. So once you encounter Elysia,
and I remember there was a lot of buzz about her being a fightable end boss for 5.0.
Yeah. So wait, Mobius or Elysia?
Elysia, yeah.
Okay, yeah. So like, that would be interesting, because I personally haven't gotten to that part of the story yet. It'll be interesting to see like why she's brought out as a character. But I'm very sure that we will not see her at her full power level unless it's in like a flashback in the Elysian Realm, because we know that she's not alive anymore. This is just a full copy that has her skills and memories and character, but not it certainly cannot. I don't think there's any way to like replicate her power fully. So that'll be interesting. But in terms of like character design and like her as a character, I think the writers and the designers have done a really good job at expressing what they wanted out of this character. And I expect a lot from her. She's probably gonna be on the level of like next like figurehead level of like I mean like top leadership level, like Otto, Kevin, like maybe what Durandal is stepping into right now, like Theresa. Yeah, she's probably that range as compared to like main character stream of like Mei, Kiana, Bronya. For One Piece, it's Shanks, because Shanks is like one of the 4 emperors, so he's like top level, but you can't have him come out all the time because like he's where the main character wants to get to, but the main character is like still having the story arc, you know. So like she is probably in that range of like too powerful to come out all the time, but you know we'll see her once in a while because she's like that strong. So yeah, I think in all aspects, even to translate it into the gameplay, they've done a really good job with this character. Yeah, what about you? Your thoughts?
I can't wait to actually get 5.0 in my hands and actually properly play through Elysian Realms. I think that's gonna be a lot of fun, just because you know it's gonna 0 stamina cost. I can just grind that. Grind that all day, I guess. But as a character, I just remember from your playthroughs, like my first impression was, damn, she's annoying. You know, like she's so annoying.
I can see
she's
that.
so smug, she's so vain, and she lords it over you in the dialogue. And you know, like I resonate with Raiden Mei, like, can you just stop talking? You know? but you know, over time, like the personality grows on me, and I see what the developers were going for, and I agree with you. Like they hit the mark. I feel like she's probably definitely a more straightforward character compared to Flame Scion in terms of like the design process, and I think
and in gameplay.
And in gameplay, and I think that was probably in a way a relief for the developers, because then they don't have to spend as much time like going back and forth and constantly reiterating. Because Flame Scion development, like I could feel it even on the testing end. Like I could sort of feel their frustrations with the tuning and like you remember like the jump from V1 to V2 for Flame Scion. Oh my goodness, that was drastic.
Insane.
Drastic.
And I mentioned when we were doing our first playthroughs on version 1, I feel like she's not gonna have too many adjustments to like because she's probably maybe
crazy. They made her farmable, like
but also
farmable.
There's a lot of complaints about her sticks being G4, because you and I even agree that it's probably like G2 to G3 ish. It's like borderline, you could kind of pass it as G3. So like the fact that they're like, this is your G4 stick, it's probably not gonna work. So if any adjustments are given to her, it's probably all gonna be in the form of buffs. She is probably gonna see a lot of like numbers going up, because at this moment she still feels weak at the base S form, but also to be fair, farmable S probably needs her at double S minimum. So
wrapping up, because I know we have to stick to the schedule. I think from a character and storyline, I'm pretty satisfied. There's a lot that I haven't gotten to experience yet, so I'm looking forward to playing through 5.0 and actually getting to meet the character formally. And I'm very interested to see how for 5.1 they'll weave her back into the main story, because it seems from all the teasers regarding what the actual 5.1 story should be going, the direction that's going into, I think that'll be really interesting. I'm very much looking forward to that.
Yeah, for sure. Okay, so this is a good wrap up. I hope everyone who's watching enjoyed whatever information that we offered. I know there's gonna be spoilers here and there, but like I said, it's a history character, so like it's not too spoiler heavy. It's a very lighthearted update, just like the character is. And we hope to be doing more of these. So here's us signing out.
Yep.
Bye bye.